Hey folks, sorry I'm late. I'm late, unprepared, and out of breath, but we're gonna make this happen. So happy Friday. Happy Friday. This is, I don't know, I didn't even do my notes. Let's see, yesterday was the fourth episode of season 3. So this is the fifth episode of season 3 of the Be Your Own Hero show. HERO is an acronym. It means helping everyone reaps optimism. I gotta take a breath. Okay. So, HERO is an acronym means helping everyone reach optimism. I'm your host. I'm sekouwrites. I'm a professional creative and the creator of what we're now calling the HERO Ministry Movement. So this season is all about doing, and today is Friday. That means it's Free Flow Friday, as named by Nan in season 2. So I want to tell you about why I'm late, first of all, and then I'll catch up with myself to talk about what we talked about this week and all that jazz. So shout out to you, Gladys, for checking in. Appreciate it. Okay, so as you already know, if you follow me on social media, it snowed in Nashville yesterday. All right, heavy snow in Nashville yesterday. Thanks, Tim. And I got a text message right before the show started asking me if I was going to run in the snow. And I talked about that a little bit yesterday. And then after that, I got 2 more text messages asking if I was going to run in the snow. And so I responded to that on social media. And I intended to talk about it a little bit today. And then this morning happened. And so now I got a few things to talk about. So let me do the introductory stuff. And then I think this story is going to be the bulk of what we talk about today. So shout out to New Thought Media Network for giving me this platform and this space to talk about my journey of becoming my own hero. Check them out at ntmedia.org. You can support them, make a donation. It is a nonprofit, so tax-deductible donation. You can also see what the other shows on the network are. So quick disclaimers, I'm not a personal trainer or a financial advisor, so do your own research, your own due diligence, and check me out here Monday through Friday, 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time for the Be Your Own Hero show. Okay, now that we've said all that, circling back to the story in progress. So yesterday morning, I went running before it started snowing. It started snowing while I was running, so I kept running through the snow. I posted about that, and as I said just a few minutes ago, 3 different people texted me to ask me if I was going to run in the snow. And I think there was an expectation that I wouldn't, that would be the day that I took off. Because the people seemed surprised that I ran in the snow. And let me respond to that first. I think there's a good quote that I've seen around the house my whole life. It's, we do not see things as they are. We see things as we are. We do not see things as they are. We see things as we are. That quote has been credited to many different people. And I found that experience to be true in terms of running. When people see me and they see my journey of running, they often superimpose their life experience on my running story. So for example, relatively early on, a friend of mine said, "You're skinny already. Why are you still running?" So from her worldview, my running was about losing weight, getting slim. But that's not my worldview. And that other people make similar comments about losing weight, about getting in shape, about being fit. And again, they're all superimposing their worldview onto my efforts. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just what people do. We do not see things as they are. We see things as we are. And so I think it's important for me to say out loud that the reason people are confused by my ability and willingness and determination to run despite weather conditions is because I'm not running for health. I'm not running to lose weight. I'm running to change my life condition. My why is much bigger than health, although that's a nice ancillary benefit. My why is bigger than losing weight, although that's a nice ancillary benefit. My why is about changing my life. And so the metaphor of running despite whatever else is going on out there holds true because life is challenging. There will always be challenges in life. And if I stop because whatever it is I've run up against is challenging, then I don't get to change my life condition. Like, pain and hardship and suffering, pain and hardship are inevitable, but suffering is optional. That's something that's been resonating with me a lot. And I'm going to interpret that in this way. So in the pursuit of any of our goals, we're going to run into challenges. We're going to run into hardships. We're going to run into pain. But we can choose not to suffer. We can choose not to dwell in that pain, not to get stopped by it. And that is what I am practicing every day by running every day, despite whatever, despite my personal aches and pains, despite my unwillingness, my desire to lay in the bed, despite whatever else, despite the snow, despite the rain, despite the bad weather, despite the 19-degree weather, despite it all, I am practicing, I'm exercising the muscle of so what? I'm exercising the muscle of being unstoppable. I'm exercising the muscle of pushing past anyway, because I need that muscle in order to change my life condition. I need that muscle to be able to push past the various hardships associated with changing my life. Like, for me, in that way, it's not optional. It's not optional to not run, because that's the simplest way I found to exercise the muscle of building a new me. I said something on the show a while ago, something that I read that really stuck with me. And it's that money is the effect and you are the cause. But that can be applied to everything. Everything is the effect and you are the cause. If you want to change your life condition, as I do, then you got to change you. You got to change the way that you interact with the world around you. You got to change everything. And this is my most direct way to do that, by pushing myself to get up and get out and run every day, no matter what. It's not about the running. I'm not trying to build a better body, although that's a nice benefit. I'm trying to build a better mind. And I mentioned yesterday that I ran cross country in high school, and I was always the last person to cross the finish line. And we can extrapolate that over years. I have historically been extremely talented and very lazy. Extremely talented and very lazy. And I have quit things often. And so this is a real shift for me. This is a real attempt to better my life condition by changing the way I interact with the world around me, changing the way I think about hardship, the way I think about difficulty, the way I think about how to move forward. And so it seems to me people don't really get that when they see that I'm running. That's when they see that I'm running in the snow. Like if I'm going to be stopped by the snow, then that means that there's something else that will happen in life as I try to change my life that will stop me too. And I can't have it. I can't have it. I am, again, attempting to change my life condition. So I wanted to say that. And then I wanted to talk about this morning. So this morning, obviously, there's still snow on the ground. It's not still snowing, but there's snow on the ground, there's ice everywhere. And again, I didn't even think about not running. Thankfully, I have run in snow before because I have been on this journey of exercising the muscle, building the muscle of so what, let's go anyway. And so I remembered some things from running on ice and through snow. And so I employed those things. And the last time I ran on ice and snow, I was on a track. This time was different because, as you know, I've started running directly from the house. So the shift that I had to make is I had to run on the main streets because they've been plowed. So I ran a different route today than usual. And as I was running, I heard someone yelling, and I looked over and the man was waving at me, and I waved back. And I thought, that's nice, because if you've been following my run reports, you know that often people cheer me on, strangers cheer me on, which is very empowering. It's just very cool. So anyway, he waved at me and I ran past him. And then I ran back the same way because I started to go a different way. Like I like to do a loop. I started to go a different way, but it was too icy. And so I came back the same way that I went out, which again is not something I typically do. I came back, he's yelling at me again. And I looked more closely this time and he's waving me over. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe what's going on? So I take my headphones off and I listen and I yell out to him and he says that he needs help. So I jog across the icy parking lot. He's the only person in this huge parking lot. I get up to him. He says that he's fallen on the ice and he can't get up. It's too slippery. So I ended my run there, obviously, and I committed to helping him. And we tried a number of different things. I tried to pull him up immediately, and that didn't work. And we shifted around, that didn't work. And he was an elderly gentleman and a little overweight. And he was just unable to support his weight. Once I got him up off of the ground, he didn't have enough leg strength to push himself the rest of the way up. And so we tried a dozen different things. We used a tree ultimately to try to get him up. And that got really close. I mean, he was up, but his legs weren't strong enough to hold his weight. And he said that he had been out there in the snow and ice for an hour before I came by the first time. And thankfully, when I came back by the second time, it had only been like 4 or 5 minutes. But he said he'd been out there, in the cold that long, unable to get help and unable to get up. And so whatever strength he had in his legs before that was gone. And he was trying to fulcrum himself up with this cane. And it was difficult for both of us because it's so slippery. So ultimately, I left him leaned against a tree and I ran to the senior center where he stays. He was in the parking lot of the senior center, but he was far out. He walked a ways out. So I ran up to the senior center. Senior center was closed. There was a phone booth kind of thing on the front porch. I called the number that was there, and the woman that answered the phone said that she was at the building next door and she could see me, but just gave so many excuses for why she couldn't help. It was really infuriating because I'm explaining what this situation is, and all she's giving me is reasons why she can't help, and that I just needed to call 911. And so I did a number of different things. I tried to, I banged on the door, but no one answered. There was no one at the front desk, and I tried a number of things. I ultimately did call 911, but I asked them to connect me with 311. Sometimes I do that for expediency. If you call 311, sometimes you just end up in a loop that takes a long time. So 911 always answers. I got them to get me over to 311, had 311 dispatch a fire truck to help us. So by the time I got off the phone, a truck had pulled into the parking lot, and the person in the truck was helping. Turns out the person in the truck works at the senior center. So he was just reporting for work and saw one of his people out there in the parking lot. And so the two of us were able to get Charles, what was his name? We were able to get Charles off the ground and onto we were able to get him off the ground, but he couldn't support his weight. We got him against the truck, but he couldn't support his weight. So I ran back to the senior center and grabbed a chair and then put the chair on my head and ran back out to the parking lot, and we got him into the chair. So once we did that, I mean, we were pretty settled. Like he's off the ice. He's not as cold. He's trying to catch his breath. And the fire truck showed up then, and 3 or 4 men from the fire truck. There were 4 men total, but one driver stayed in the truck. And the 3 of them got out, and we were able to get Charles out of the chair, onto the lift gate of the truck. And then Horace was his name, is the man who works at the center. Horace drove us, because I stayed on the back of the lift gate with Charles just to make sure he didn't fall off or fall over. He drove us back to the center, and then the fire truck followed along. And then ultimately we got him off the lift gate of the truck into a wheelchair and into his apartment. And so that was a long saga. And a couple of things came up for me in real time, and I'm sure some other things will come up to me as I go. But one of the first things that occurred to me is you never know what's going to happen. You don't know what you're preparing yourself for. Like, my ability to run on snow and ice became clutch today. Like I was able to be helpful just as a passerby in a significant way because I've had practice doing that. And never would I have thought that my practice running on snow and ice would come to be useful in this way, but I'm glad that it was. Also, something that occurred to me is that everything is about mindset, right? The woman who works at the next door facility was full of reasons why she couldn't help, but and in the process of that was unhelpful at all. And the facility where she worked is a facility that is supposed to work with seniors too. So that was challenging for me, but it's about mindset. It's about having a mindset to keep searching for solutions and not be distracted by other people's negativity. It's the mindset of noticing other people being stuck in excuses and shifting gears. So there was a lot for me there. And I don't know. I'm just coming in from it, right? Like I was still in the parking lot when it was time to start the show. And then I ran back here to start the show. And I'm still in the moment. And as I say, I think there'll be more things for me to talk about as I continue to unpack it. I'm grateful that I was able to be there. I'm grateful that I was able to help. Charles said that someone else had run by earlier and he was unable to get his attention. So I'm grateful that all the things happened the way they happened and we were able to get him squared away. And also, we always have to be preparing ourselves. Like that's kind of what's coming through for me. Like we don't know what's coming up, but we got to do the most that we can right now in this moment. Like, because we don't know. Because we don't know. We don't know what we're being prepared for. So I don't know what else I want to say about it, but more is going to come through for me, I'm sure, about that experience. Prayers up for Charles. Prayers up for Horace and the firemen that helped us, and for everyone involved in the situation. I hope he is well. He seems to be. Last I saw him, he was on his couch and he was thanking me for stopping my run to come help him. And I hope he's well. All right. So all that said, this is a great case in point for why I continue to run every day. Obviously, I couldn't have predicted that, but the fact that I run every day in the conditions that I run every day prepares me for the unseen, unforeseeable future. That's what I got. Okay. So all that said, my alarm's going off about wrapping up this show. I got to say something about abundance. And today, what I'll do is I'll read from the 30-Day Mental Diet. Those of you who have been following the show and Rev Melissa's show know that she's doing a 30-Day Mental Diet class right now. I am taking that class for, I think, the 5th time, and I'm shocked at how much it changes every time you read the book. Like, obviously, the words on the page don't change, but you notice something else stands out for you. It resonates with you differently. And so I'm going to read what stood out to me this morning from the 30-Day Mental Diet. This was from my morning practice this morning. Here it is. It's coming. Okay, so this is from the theme, Where Are You? But this is the quote I want to read. God is active right where I am, right now. I discard all previous ideas of separation. As I consciously unite myself with God, the limitless possibilities of every good thing become available in my life. God is active right where I am right now. And isn't that evident in the story I just told, right? For all those things to have happened, for me to have run that particular way, for me to come back on the route, which is not something I typically do, all the things align for me to be helpful to that man. And God knows where you are, and God will connect the dots. Yeah, God will connect the dots. Okay, so I haven't said anything about finance yet, but I want to say something about it. I haven't pulled my number yet from my cup of numbers, but I hope you guys have been doing it with me. Again, what I suggested is something that was introduced to me as an envelope challenge. In an envelope challenge, you put a certain amount of cash in an envelope every day. I remixed it to make it digital. So I wrote $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, and $6 on 6 different pieces of paper. I put them in a cup. I shake it up every morning and pull a number out. And then I transfer that amount from my checkings to my savings or to my brokerage account, depending. So I'm doing that. I will do it. I did it yesterday. I will do it again today. I invite you to do it with me. The point is, this week we've been talking about there's no excuse not to save money. No, that's not quite right. Oh, I don't have enough money to invest. That's the excuse we've been battling. I don't have enough money to invest. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You just have to think about it in a different way and choose to move money in small increments where it doesn't really affect you. So this is a very small bracket of $1 to $6. You can move that every day. You got $6. Okay. So aside from that, I don't have anything prepared to say about money. So I'll just reiterate the things that we've already talked about. The poor people spend, middle class saves, the wealthy invest. So again, investing is not optional. Push yourself to invest, even if it's only $1 to $6. Just move that money over, let it accumulate, and then invest it. And obviously, our affirmation: I am so happy and grateful to be a multimillionaire in every area of my life. Okay, so today was definitely a free flow Friday. I still very much had Charles on my mind as I began the show, and he's still on my mind now. And I'm sure I'll have something more to say about that soon. But it's time for prayer time right now at 10:15, and then come back later for Sit with Rev Melissa at 10:30 Eastern Time. And I'll be producing that show and probably popping in to say a few words. Join me in just sending some love out to Charles, sending some love out to that senior center. And I think that's what's resonating with me. I feel like there's some changes that need to be made in that system. Like, why was I needed to help that situation? Why aren't there protocols set up for that eventuality? I think that's what's coming through for me. Anyway, I'm gonna sit with it. But thank you for being here. Thank you for kind of letting me piece it together today in real time. And stay tuned for prayer time and for Sit with Rev Melissa. Keep doing. Be a hero. Be your own hero always. You never know when there's going to be an opportunity for you to be a hero out there in the real world. You never know when it's going to happen. So be prepared. And remember that now, right now, is better than perfect. Go ahead.